Hey there, this is Radar for On the Radar Entertainment Blog coming to you with another edition of Movie Reviews and Observation, episode 10. Ooh, we've done 10 of them. So this week I got cracked down of watching movies pretty much every single day of the week. The first movie I watched was an Octavia Spencer, Juliette Lewis, and a Luke Evans movie called Ma. These children, they want to buy beer, they want to be cool. So this woman offers to buy them their beer and liquor, and then eventually says, you can stay at my house in the basement and do whatever you want. Smoke weed, drink. Just, don't go upstairs. Use the bathroom down there. You can invite your friends. Everybody gets invited. And the movie really starts off with this girl and her mother moving back to the town her mother grew up in. Not having friends. She meets some people, a boy. Them as a group get involved in this. And you find out that the mother, Octavia Spencer, went to school with the girl's mother, this other woman in town, and the boy's father, played by Luke Evans. But they did something horrible. They pranked her, and so she eventually gets revenge. And it's not really a horror film. It's more of a suspense, like, oh, what's going to happen? Because after a while, they're like, we don't want to stay here. She's creepy, blah, 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 blah. And they try to get away, and she then tries to kill them, blah, blah, blah. So this movie was a horrible movie. If you're not a big Octavia Spencer fan, I would also not just watching this. The only thing going for it is it's not that long of a movie. There's some suspense to it. But the guy with the biggest billing, Luke Evans, dies in the movie. There's no point then. So don't watch Ma. The next movie I watched was The Wind. They called it a supernatural Western horror film that, excuse me, took place in the past. And I don't know if it was the wind itself, the demon itself, the new neighbors with the wife that moved in, or the horror thing, but it was pretty stupid. The only good thing going for it was that it was only an hour and 20-something minutes. It, was slow moving, boring, not that exciting, nothing really happening. You just see people dead or animals dead, and it takes place in the past. They're the only ones there. Her husband goes away and she's stuck all night. Yeah, so just really stupid. Because I don't know if she's going crazy or there's actually something out there. So it's just a waste of everybody's time. As I said, the only positive thing is that it's short. The next movie I watched was The Dead Don't Die. You see a pattern. The next movies I put on my list will have to be horror films. The Dead Don't Die is an action comedy, horror film. Starring Bill Murray and Adam Driver and Chloe Sevigny as the cops detectives in town. Steve Buscemi was a farmer. RZA was a delivery truck driver. Tilda Swinton was the woman that worked at the morgue. Tom Waits was this homeless guy in the jungle, in the forest. Danny Glover owned a business. And Rosie Perez played the news anchor, and Caleb Landry Jones owned the gas station. And it also had Selena Gomez and her friends come to town. So basically, something's wrong with, like, the Earth rotation or something. And things are off, like the cell phones and daylight saving time all being screwed up. And they don't know what's going on. And all of a sudden, in this small town, Centersville, zombies appear, and they got to fight them off. Tom Waits, as I said, was in the thing. So one of the zombies was played by Iggy Pop. So it was very interesting. And basically, it's to try to survive the movie. Adam Driver and Bill Murray being the two big leading movies actors. No offense to Steve Buscemi and Danny Glover, but they're the ones that are the main characters. They're trying to survive the movie. They break the wall sometimes, the fourth wall, so it's interesting. But yeah, it was a pretty good action comedies, horror film that was, an hour and a half to 40 minutes, not that long. So, it was a pretty good movie, pretty good music. So it's based off that country song, The Dead Don't Die, by Sturgill Simpson. And yeah, so big time cast with Murray, Driver, Swinton, Buscemi, Glover, Rosie Perez, Iggy Pop, and Selena Gomez in general. Not that long. I'd watch it. It was a pretty good movie. It was not scary. It was just fun, end of the world type of stuff. Then I watched a dramedy called Wild Rose. This woman who's like either British or Scottish. She comes back from prison after doing some drug thing where she didn't mean to do it. Her mom watches her children. She takes a job as a cleaning lady, but her goal is to be a country star from England. And she's been playing at this country western bar the whole entire time. They all go country western. She goes, no, it's country. And it stars Jessie Buckley in the movie. And her goal is to be a country star and make it. And so it's about her trying to make it, visiting Nashville and writing her own music and stuff. in her life. But, it's not a great movie. It was kind of, even though it was an hour and 41 minutes with credits, so it's 90 something minutes, the movie moved very slow. There was a lot of wasted scenes in the movie. It's nice that this lady, Jessie Buckley, can sing and act. It was pretty cool. It was just, when you're not a big country person and the movie's moving slow, it's an okay, trying to become famous type of movie, but I wouldn't watch it unless you're really invested in it. The next movie I watched was Child's Play. It's a remake of the 1988 movie franchise. So, be it as it may, if you've seen it, the original one, what it is, they have this high-tech doll who connects to all this technology that this company makes. So it's like post-apocalyptical type of thing. Like, you don't want to be stuck relying on technology. And this little doll that becomes your child's friend, he connects to everything to control everything. And it starts off in the Vietnamese factory where this guy hates his job. So he takes all the safety parameters off. And of course, it didn't work, so a parent returned it. And so Aubrey Plaza plays a mother, which I really don't believe her as a mother. Is, she's okay in the movie, but she buys her kid this gift because she works like a Walmart type of store. And of course, he got no safety parameters, so he swears, he attacks a cat, the horrible boyfriend who was actually married. So this doll comes to life. Instead of being your friend, you think it's cool, it only wants to be friends with the boy. So his mother, anybody who's mean to him, the cat, the doll goes after it. And it's really cool because you got Mark Hamill voicing the doll. And Brian Tyree Henry plays the cop that lives whose mother lives down the street, in the apartment complex. The kid is deaf, so I don't really get that. He's like hearing aid, and he becomes friends and stuff with these kids, and they think it's cool that the doll can swear and do all this stuff. But then it turns out you don't want to get on the wrong side of this doll. They kill the doll, they throw it away, but of course the creepy guy that lives in the basement, he restores the doll back to normal, tries to sell it, and that makes it worse because the doll comes back to life. Knowing the kid got rid of it. And yeah, it says it's an hour and 30 minutes, but it's more like an hour and 25 at 24 minutes. So, short movie, good acting of Aubrey Plaza, Brian Tyree Henry, and the kid, and Mark Hamill voicing it. And yeah, it's a remake. I never saw the original, but it wasn't that scary. It was more of a bloody, gory, who's going to live and who's going to die, or they're going to beat the doll, so it wasn't bad. It doesn't take a lot of your time, so it's a good overall movie. Then the next movie I watched was Anna and the Apocalypse. Now, you think, okay, relying on technology and Chucky and the Dead Don't Die is apocalyptical type of movie. This one is too. This one is where it hits times on current, with the COVID, where it's a flu strain that turns people into zombies, and there's no cure. So it really hits home now with what's going on, that people are turned to zombies from a flu strain. And they're like, okay, that's interesting. It's a British movie. It took a while to get here. Never heard of anybody in the cast. But here's the thing, though, is it takes place during Christmas. So there's all these Christmas themes. It's also teenagers trying to survive the apocalypse because they're at a school. Then it's also a musical. So they all bust into singing like High School Musical where nothing goes wrong. In the movie it's like, yeah, they're all singing in the lunchroom or walking and nobody notices anything and they just move on with their life. So if you want to sit through Christmas, apocalyptical, teenage drama, and singing for a movie that is under, it's an hour and a half, under an hour 40 minutes, yeah, you can watch it. If you're interested in watching a movie that sings, has unknown cast. So the movie's watchable, but it's the corny cheeseball singing, and then in the movie, the best friend pines for the girl, but she dates the douchebag, and there's a girl who nobody talks to because her parents leave, and she's got a girlfriend. Then there's the couple who loves each other, blah, 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 blah. There's the weird principal of the school, and then the father's the janitor at the school. Like, you would think of this movie, if Anna survives, that maybe her friend who wants to date her survives. Nope, the douchebag guy she dated and screwed over survives. Sorry to ruin it. It's just stupid. So, it's an okay movie to watch. You're not wasting your time if you want to laugh a bit and sing, but it's a thumbs down. Then I watched a really good movie called Yesterday, where this Indian, guy lives in England, is a struggling musician. And after an accident of a bike where all the world's power goes away, he finds out that nobody remembers the Beatles. And because, he doesn't want to be a teacher or work at a store, he then starts to come up with Beatles songs. Because nobody heard him, might as well take the music and the lyrics. Because it's impressive to know the words and sing it, but he could play the guitar, piano, bass, all that stuff, and play all the songs and become friends with Ed Sheeran. Takes him on tour. Then they becomes big. Kate McKinnon plays agent. Lily James plays the original manager, love interest. And, it's a plot where people don't remember the Beatles. Like, they're noticing Coca-Cola or cigarettes or Harry Potter. Oh, my God. So this is something that when I was in middle school, I was surprised that none of my friends who were young, this is back then, we're not talking about current kids, but when I was a kid, people were like, the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, The Who, The Doors, Rolling Stones? I don't know who they are. So I wrote an article in the middle school newspaper going, imagine a world where people didn't know the bands that existed, and you decided, you know what, nobody's ever heard of these artists? I'm going to pretend it's my own music and become famous and popular. I didn't make it a love interest story. I didn't make it the guy was British. I didn't make it that Coca-Cola and cigarettes didn't exist as well. I just took a very thing that the Beatles and a bunch of the legendary classic rock bands didn't exist, and he took it upon himself. I'm not saying this movie, stole my idea, Universal Pictures, but I came up with this idea years ago when I was in middle school and wrote it as a movie plot for a newspaper, something that could happen. So it was emotional because A World Without the Beatles is horrible, but there was Beck and David Bowie and the Rolling Stones in the movie, and he had a Fratelli's t-shirt and poster, so I know he liked it. And yeah, there were scattered songs he did in the movie like Yesterday, Long Running Road, Let It Be, etc. So all that is great, and the best part about the movie was, he was always wondering like why this Russian guy and this British woman were following him, and he thought they were going to say, how dare you steal the music? Paul and Ringo will say, no, it's our music. No, these two people remember the Beatles, and they couldn't sing or play music, so they're so happy that they, that this guy brought the music back, even though, he didn't want all the money or fame. He just wanted to be a musician. That's his dream and stuff. And they give him a sheet of paper that tells him, you should go there if you're feeling like you're a liar, all this stuff. And cool thing, he also does a rooftop concert, which is pretty cool because the Beatles did that before. He visited Liverpool, like Strawberry Fields, Penny Lanes, Eleanor Rigby, all that stuff. But he goes to this small little place in England, and he meets some guy who lives like all in the middle of nowhere. And the fact that he survived, and he's 79 years old, and he wasn't assassinated or killed or anything. He lived his life, he had a job, he had a wife. He pursues him, he tells him, are you happy in your life? He's like, kinda, making music. Are you loving life? And he convinces them. And I don't know who they got to play the person who, to play the John Lennon character, but amazing. It was like freaky watching him to make it look like him, and he gave him good advice. Of course, John Lennon would do. And it's a good question to think, what if he never died? What if other people didn't die? So, but yeah, so it was, good movie, emotional, made me cry. It ended on a happy note. He said, I'm a liar, blah, 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 blah. All these things. So it was a great movie. It's a movie I'm going to want to watch again. Watch with my family. So yeah, I suggest watch Yesterday. Amazing movie, even though they stole my idea. If you want to just watch something that's average to below average, singing and teenage Christmas stuff, watch Andy the Apocalypse. Do not watch Child's Play, not that long, even though it's a remake. It was a pretty good horror film with good actors. Don't waste your time with Wild Rose unless you want to watch a country music western, British woman trying to make her dreams, but it's more like white trash, The Dead Don't Die was a good action comedy with big cast, trying to survive an apocalypse. The Wind, horrible concept, and The Ma, creepy and annoying movie Octavia Spencer. Thanks for listening to another edition of On the Radar's Movie Reviews and Observation number 10. See you guys next time.